Hello everyone, this is Joseph Propati, and I'm going to be doing an unboxing today of a game that I had created through the Game Crafter. So this game is called Countdown to Disaster, and it's a PNP that I have on Game Board Geek right now. You can find it on there. And I thought, well, let's see how it comes out when I have it created through the Game Crafter. It should have, I hope, the game board and cards and tiles. So I wanted to cover everything. I wanted to see how they create their boards and how they come out. The cards, I've never had any cards created through them, so I want to see how this comes out. Now I've had tiles created through them and wasn't really happy. They were double-sided tiles and the alignment was just awful. So I'm doing tiles through these guys because one side's black and the other side has an image. Now, when I had the last tiles done, one side was perfect, but the other side was all over the place. And they have this 1/8 inch variance that they say, hey, this is what we, guarantee. Hey, if it's within 1/8 inch, that's as good as we can get. And to me, that was unacceptable. Things need to line up. So I thought, okay, I'll give it a shot. These are going to be black on one side and then have the image on the other. But these images need to line up. I mean, they have to be perfect or it's just going to look like crap. So that's a big one that I'm really looking forward to see. So I should have a game board, cards, and my tiles in here. I didn't want to do anything else like the box and the insert, all that. I can do that later. These are just kind of critical. So let's go ahead and see what we got. So this looks like our tiles, and these look like it's going to be the cards, and what we got here, and the game board. Okay, so let's see what we got. All right, so we've got game board, cards, and my countdown cards, and tiles. So first, let's go ahead and look at the game board. It's a quad fold, so it'll have 4 pieces to it. So here's the board. Let's see if we can get it to lay flat, since that is kind of critical. Now, I'm not really impressed. I really thought that they would have a board that was like what you'd see in a game board. I mean, this has just, black image, which is what I had on one side, and then my image, the game board, has a pretty wide seam, so I wanted to make sure that seam, because I knew it was going to be big, was going to be inside where the tiles would lay, so it wasn't going to be so bad. But the image looks pretty good. I'll have to look at it. It looks pretty centered. So here's where the tiles will sit, and they'll also sit on here. And then the countdown cards will sit there. So here's the board. Like I said, it's trifold, so you basically, that's what you got. So it'll be in a small box, which is kind of cool. And you pop it open, you just kind of have to play with it so you can get it to lay flat. But it does lay flat, which is nice. So let's go ahead and look at the timer cards. So there should be the green ones, a boom card, and they don't, it looks like they don't, there's no organization, like they don't count them up and then wrap them. It's just however the sheet is. So I'm gonna have to kind of lay these out. So you can see that I put a marker on here so you know that they'll all face down. That way it's easier to see the way the numbers will go. And I want to see how they lay out. That's pretty good. It fits in. I'm happy. It could have been to the lines, but it's kind of hard to play when they cut. But that's pretty cool. I didn't want the green to show behind because that's, here's their account. So we have our 11, we do 5, 2, so we got 6, 12, 15, let's see, we got 13, 14, so 13, 12, 11, we have 10, 9, let's see, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, so good. At least I got all the cards in. And like I said, so these are just a black back, the linen. It's a nice shine to it. I don't know what that line is through the middle, but I'll have to do a little bit closer inspection. But the cards, they're clean. You know, they're pretty good. There's a little line through here. I don't know what that is. It's not a fold. So these would be basically piled up on here. And then you would have a few of these. You'd take a boom card and basically just randomize. That way, once your counter gets down past below 1 second, it's basically a chance, so that you might get the bomb right away or within a certain amount. So you have those set up like that, and that's pretty cool. I like that. So let's look at the other cards. Now these are the main cards for the game. And see, these are okay. These are critical. I really wanted to see how the cards came out too, because I've never used cards, so I wanted to see how they were centered. And you can kind of see there, it's got a little bit more on this side and a little less on this. At least it's not, well, it isn't little. Maybe it's an optical illusion, but it does look like it's coming down. I don't know. Maybe you can see that. And does it look like it is? But and you know, there's the logo, and sure enough, yeah, fat on one end, skinny on one end. God, they just cannot center cards. I don't understand. I mean, because you know, I buy a lot of games. You know, I get a card from a game, I look at it, and it's perfect. It's centered, you know, and there's no fat and skinny. And I get cards from here, and it's like, you know, hey, look. Fat on this side, skinny on that side, you know, but my images I know are perfect because I spent a long time. But now this side looks really good, you know, so the logo side, totally random. Fat on this side, skinny on this side. Oh, man. I mean, and to me, I would not sell this game with cards like this. I could never do a Kickstarter and go, hey, I'm gonna use the Game Crafter to create my cards and my game, because you know, like that one looks nice, and then you get in here and it's like, oh, fat and skinny. So, and this is the logo side, so I would think, okay, maybe one side would be bad, but then I come to the other side and sure enough, you got skinny, fat. You know, then it's, you know, these are good, and then skinny and fat on this side, skinny on this side. Now, I like the color looks good. These, like I said, they're a linen finish. So I like the image that came out on it. I'm happy with that. That's pretty cool. We'll take a look at some of these. The text comes out really well. You can read it. I can see the image. So the actual art, you know, the way they're printing the image on the cards that they print on there is really clean. I like it. I mean, yeah, you can kind of nitpick on the centering, but hey, you're really looking at what's on the card when you're playing, so it's not so critical. I mean, this is just for me, but like I said, I could never, unfortunately, could never use the Game Crafter for doing Kickstarter. It's just, there's no way. You know, I would just feel bad. I'd be like, I'm sorry that you paid money for this. So those are the cards, the game cards, and we'll move on to the tiles. So you know, so far I'm happy. I mean, it's like I kind of expected. that the cards would, possibly be. I was hoping they wouldn't, but hey, I haven't had any luck the other way, so. All right, so here's the tiles, and if anybody's ever used GameCrafter, they know that these are laser cut cards. So when you pop them, and we'll pop one now, you're gonna have an ash on the cards, which I hate. I think that sucks. Sorry. I just hate that, because now there's like 100 and something tiles in here, and I got to go through every single tile and clean the edge. And I hate that. So, like I said, I did them where they're just black on one side, and you can see the laser burn. So just so everybody knows, if you use GameCrafter, when they do their tiles, they don't punch them for you and they don't package them. They send you the sheets that they're cut on, and then you got to pop them and you have to clean them. Just be aware of that. So let's take a look and see how well, if they're centered. Now I'm hoping, remember I said it's pretty critical that these are centered because they have to go through the middle. And so far, they're looking pretty good. I mean, that looks pretty good, right? Looks pretty centered. I did some new art for this. I don't know if people have played the original game, but I redid all the art for this game. I resized it, so like I said, you can get this card, this size board, these cards for the timer. They're normal poker size cards for the game, and then the tiles are 1 1/4 by 1 1/4. And I'm just gonna pop one, right? Because I want to see how well it fits. So here we have a tile, and we'll pop another one just to see if they line up. So that doesn't line up. Let's see how this goes. Let's see on the side. So let's use a yellow one. Now I know the shading will be off sometimes, so I'm not too concerned with that. I just want to have some consistency with when they're in their squares. So we'll use a couple more. Let's use a green. Let's use red. I'm gonna have to clean all these, but so you got this. I'll put one here. So yeah, it's I'm pretty happy. I mean, they're lining up pretty good. That's not bad. So yeah, I was really concerned because I had such a bad experience. I had to actually get refunds and have them and just trash them because the tiles before were terrible. But these, I thought, okay, gonna have a black back. That way I don't have to worry about a double centering, and all they gotta do is center on these, which it looks like they did a pretty good job. So let's see. Yeah, that's gonna be cool. I like it. So the again, I got a bunch of sheets. There's, let's see, 2, 4, 6, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, and there's 6 to a sheet. So here's, like I said, here's my tiles, and this is for, and I can't believe I completely boned it, but I didn't even put the name of the game on it. I have it, Countdown Disaster on the logo, but I forgot to put it on the board. Jesus, what an idiot. So I might have to fix that. But really, this was just to test GameCrafter. I really wanted to see how it would come out. And you know, overall, if I was given 1 out of 10, you know, just covering everything, I'd say they've got about a 7.5. I mean, you know, it's plain. You know, the board's just very, looks like they stuck it on there and, you know, cut it out. You know, I was expecting, you know, have like a board seam or, you know, like a real game board, but, you know, you're only going to get so much. The nice thing about it is, like I said, it's very small. I could do a very small box. You know, just need to have, get the cards in there, get the tiles in there, you know, the other cards, and I can get away with, because, you know, there's no dice for this game. It's just cards and tiles and the game board. So there you have it. Here's my game, Countdown to Disaster. Like I said, there's the logo for the game, and these are all my cards. You know, I've got my timer cards, and which fit right on the game board, which I'm very happy about. And then, like I said, tiles that you draw and set up. See how they look in here. So those fit really nice. I like that. That's cool. So you can draw from these as you use your cards, and then as you have your pile, you know, you have a bag that you'll use to put all your tiles in, and then you draw your tiles. So I'm not going to go over the whole. I'm not going to really go over the game, but basically this would be the setup. You know, you'd have your timer cards, and you'd have your below a second for your before your bomb blows up. Then you have your game cards, your game board, and all your tiles. So, and like I said, all the tiles would be put into a bag that you draw from. So this is my game, and this was through the Game Crafter. So I'll be posting this video under my site on Game Board Geek under the Countdown to Disaster thread, and hopefully people that are going to use the Game Crafter can get an idea of you know, how the art comes out, the quality of the cards. And I would say the quality of the cards I like. I did linen. One thing I don't know is which I will have to do a lot of testing, is I don't know how well the edges will hang or will last. So with shuffling, and that's just going to come in time. We'll see what kind of quality the cards are, but you know, and it wasn't cheap. For this board, the timer cards and these cards, poker cards, and the tiles, it was around 40 something bucks. But then again, you know, there's a lot of cards. You know, as you can see, 60 something cards, and there's 100 something tiles. So because it's not all 6, there's some tiles that are blanks, but there's 120 something tiles. So out of 120 something tiles, you got your poker cards, your timer cards, and your boards. 40 something bucks. I know that you could do these things on Kickstarter and do it through China and pop these things out for $5, less than 10 bucks, probably 5 easily, because there's no dice. It's just cards and a board. So, and the tiles. But at least gives you an idea of what you can get from the Game Crafter. And again, I would say I'm happy. This is going to be cool to play. Test it out. You know, like I said, the other thing I didn't get to put in there was the rules, which I'll make some rules, and I think, you know, I'll add the title to it, create the rules, figure out what size box I need, and then do an official through GameCraft just to see what it looks like as a final product. One, I think it'll be too expensive. I don't know if people are going to want to buy my game at that kind of range, especially when I got to add the rules to it and a box. So I don't think I'll do an insert. I think it'll just be a box and have everything wrapped up. But that's one of the things I think people have to deal with, is when they buy the game, they'll get the tiles like this, and they'll have to, you know, you'll have to clean them up. Sorry, it's not something I really like. It's one of the things through GameCraft I don't like. I really don't like how they do laser cutting, because it's always going to put that ash on the side. So it's the same as, some other companies that I won't mention, they do the same thing with laser cutting. So I like the punch out tiles myself. There's no grime on it and ash. You don't have to clean anything. And again, that's when you're getting to a professional level. So, but for creating a prototype to be able to send to people to play test, it's definitely a quality product that I could send and I would be okay with, knowing that it's just a prototype and that it could possibly change. But cost-wise, to create and send prototypes, pretty expensive. It would be pretty. When you're up to $50 just to do a prototype to send to somebody who may just sit it on a shelf and never even look at it, that's expensive. So, where do you go from there? You just see if you can find other manufacturers that can make it a lot cheaper. But I have the art. I have the art done, and everything's laid out really well. I like how the cards lay on the game board and how the tiles fit into the game board, and they fit really nice on the board. So overall, very happy with how the game's produced and how it looks and how the tiles are centered, which, very happy about that. So I just now have to spend the next hour and something cleaning off each tile, which I'm not happy about at all. So it's comes with the process when you buy the Game Crafter, buy through the Game Crafter. So here's my game. This is Countdown to Disaster. It was created and manufactured. I put the files through Game Crafter, and Game Crafter manufactured it and sent it to me. It takes about 2.5 weeks, 3 weeks for you to finish your design, finalize it, and then have it sent to you back in the mail. So that's another thing you should be aware of. About 3 weeks. And the process, if you haven't used Game Crafter, it's pretty cool. It's not too difficult. They do have set parameters on the sizes that they need. So if you do a poker size card, pixel wise, it's like 825 by 1125. So when you're creating your cards and your images, they have to be set to a specific size. So when you upload them, if it's off just by a pixel in height or width, it won't accept it. So all the stuff you do, your cards, your tiles, they have to be a specific height, and you can see that when you're on the Game Crafter website. So I recommend if you want to make, because it's great to have a one-off. This company's really cool that you can create a game for yourself. Let your friends play test it, you play test it. You can make 1 or 2. It's a little expensive, be aware of that, but there's not a lot of companies that will do that, just make a 1 or 2 off. They'll say, hey, I want 500 or 1,000. So very cool that you can go to Game Crafter, create a prototype for yourself, see how it's going to look, give it to people to play or play test yourself, and know, hey, this is something that I can put in a box and sell. Is very cool to be able to do. So those of you who are thinking about using Game Crafter, this is a finished product that's using tiles, cards, and a quadfold, or I think maybe it's either trifold game board. So, but 4 sections. And that's everything about my game, Countdown to Disaster, created through the Game Crafter. So, thank you very much.